In this video, I'm going through the process of embroidering on some bunny ears. I've been working on a lot of customer orders and I was just feeling a little bit burnt out, so I wanted to do something that was a little bit more creative. But these bunny ears have a wire on the inside, so it's kind of be trial and error to take it slow to make sure I don't hit the wire and that I have a good stitch out. I'm also working with a very small area to embroider on, which is on the inside of the bunny ear. And so I gotta make sure that A, I give myself enough space to design, and B, I give myself enough space so that my machine can, get the right placement. So I am pinning the bunny ear to some tearaway stabilizer, and then I'm going to mark a center point so that I know where the center of my hoop is. And then I'm also marking the top of the wire, and that will help me understand like the size of the design that I can make. And I'll just measure, how wide of a space I have, and it's about 3 inches. So I'll know that I definitely want my design to be just under 3 inches. And then it was about 2.5 inches tall. So again, I'm gonna make my design be just under 2.5 inches tall so that I am within the bounds of the wire. I use Embroidered Essentials, and I'm using a BX font. Can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it on the screen. And what I like about a BX font is that you can manipulate the size within the dimensions of the font parameters, and then that's how I am able to make sure that the design that I am making will fit the area that I have measured. So here I'm just playing with the font, with the height and the width, again within the limits of the BX font parameters. I'm then going to save it, upload it to the InStitch cloud, and it will transfer wirelessly to my Poolin. Once it's uploaded, I'll hoop my hoop onto my machine, make sure that I'm lined up with that center point, and then that my design is in the correct orientation for stitching, and then I'm going to trace. I was originally starting with some water soluble on top, but it kind of just got in the way because it wasn't really tacked down, it was just floating over, so I just chucked that. The fabric is pretty kind of like a lycra polyester, so it's pretty stable. I'm not really worrying about stitches sinking in, so I don't really need that. But again, I'm going to trace and trace, and what I'm feeling for is where the needle bar is going to meet the wire, and make sure I'm within the bounds and slow my machine down, especially on the initial stitch, just to make sure that I am again not going to hit that wire on the inside. And once I'm confident about the placement and that I've cleared that inside wire, we're just gonna speed things up and let the Poolin stitch out. Every now and again, I'll use my scissors to kind of like move the fabric and straighten it out a little bit more. But all in all, the Poolin did a great job. My placement could have been a little bit more centered, but again, I cleared that wire. I gave myself enough width and height that I had no issues with this stitch out, and I think it is, coming out pretty good. Again, using a BX font, they're resizable, and I think that's what helped me get, like such a crisp, clear stitch out. Now that that's done, I'm just going to trim that little jump stitch thread, get that out of the way, and then I'm going to tear the bunny ear off. And there's a little bit left over of the tearaway on the back, but I'm just not even going to pick that out because it kind of just helps help with the structure of the stitch out, but it doesn't affect the design in any way. If anything, it gives it a little bit more support. And I just think it's just a cute, fun project to do in the middle of feeling burnt out. So happy that I'm able to still create fun things in the middle of doing orders, just to make sure that I keep my passion for embroidery and my creativity spark alive. Thanks for stopping by. Like, comment, and subscribe for more fun embroidery projects.